Early one morning, in the summer of 1967, the Fat Controller came to see Gordon in the sheds. "Good morning, Gordon. I'm afraid it's that time of year again."
"Summer holidays, sir. I take it the Express will have extra coaches added."
"Indeed."
"Thank you for letting me know, sir,"
Gordon replied. With that, he headed off to pick up the express coaches. Normally, he would be proud to be taking the railway's name train, but today, the big engine had something to worry about.
"Driver, I'm not sure if I can do this.
"What's wrong?"
I've got a bit of a pain in my boiler."
"We'll have to do what we can. Do you think you can make it to Croven's Gate? We can swap out at the works there."
"Maybe. I'll give it my best."
Back at the sheds, James was growing impatient. He had to take a slow goods and wanted to get it over and done with. But first, he needed to take a drink.
Hurry up! I haven't got all day to wait around for a slow tank engine.
We all need to drink, James. Have some patience. I've got a big train to take back to Farquhar.
I handle big trains all the time. That's no excuse for dawdling around.
Before Percy could reply, his fireman finished filling his tank. The little tank engine chuffed off in a huff. He was still annoyed when he collected his trucks. Donald had seen the whole thing.
Dinna fash yourself, Percy. You know what he's like, especially when it comes to trucks.
We all have jobs we don't like. That's no excuse to be rude.
Aye, well, dinna let it get you down. No point stewing over this sort of thing.
Huh.
Out on the main line, Gordon's boiler was getting worse. He barely had any strength to pull his train at all, but he kept pressing on. He would at least get his passengers to a station. After leaving his coaches at the platform, he crawled into a nearby siding. His crew climbed down and inspected him. James soon arrived with his goods and was flagged down by the station master.
What's the matter, Gordon? Run out of puff?
"My boiler tubes have collapsed. I'll have to go to the works to be mended."
What? I didn't realise it was that bad.
"Neither did I. I thought it was just some boiler sludge."
What about the express?
"You'll have to take it. I hope it's not too heavy for you, little James."
I have taken it before, you know. I'm sure I can manage.
Their drivers agreed, and the station master arranged it with the Fat Controller. James moved off to shunt his goods train clear of the main line. Once that was done, James backed down onto the express. He tried to start the train, but the heavy coaches held him back.
Come on, get moving.
He tried again and again, but it was no use. The long, heavy train just would not budge. While this was going on, Percy arrived and stopped to shunt some of his trucks.
Having a bit of trouble, James?
"The express is a bit heavier than usual this morning. It's the summer rush."
Oh, but I thought big trains were no excuse for dawdling around. Isn't that what you told me, James?
James didn't reply. He just grunted and tried to start the train again.
Would you like some help?
What? You? Help me? With this? That would be an act of desperation.
"Now, James, think of your passengers. They have places to be. Desperate times do call for desperate measures."
Oh, so I'm a desperate measure, am I?
I suppose you'll do,
James replied. Although he wouldn't admit it, he was glad for the help. After leaving his trucks in the yard, Percy backed down in front of James and was quickly coupled up.
"Good luck. You should be clear all the way. An engine from the other railway will take over at Barrow."
Neither Percy nor James replied. They were too busy getting the train underway.
Get moving, get moving, get moving.
We're doing it! We're doing it! We're doing it!
Soon, the express was racing along the line. It wasn't as fast as usual, but the passengers understood that the engines were doing the best they could. They blasted through stations and raced up Gordon's Hill. They were soon beginning to tire.
I must go on! I must!
We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
They were relieved to reach Croven's Gate, a scheduled stop for the express, but this sentiment was not shared by the engine waiting for them.
You're late. Just as well for you two I'm a guaranteed connection.
It's not for a lack of trying.
Don't tell me you've never been late.
Don't try to make this about me.
Pipe down, Duncan. Can't you see they're exhausted? Poor Percy looks worked off his wheels.
Thank you, Adeline.
Percy replied. Duncan just glared. The two engines got the express underway again. That rest, brief as it had been, was what they'd needed. They crossed the bridge to the mainland, looking forward to completing their journey. With the final few puffs of steam, they brought the express into Barrow Station. Both engines breathed a sigh of relief. As promised, an engine from the other railway was waiting. James and Percy were uncoupled and headed off to the sheds for a drink and a rest.
Percy,
Yes?
thank you. I'm sorry about what I said earlier.
You're welcome, James.